Good afternoon and welcome here to Nethermore for this afternoon's Skrill North game between Guiseley and Oxford City. A important one again for the Lions as they look to continue the good form that they've experienced in recent weeks. Victories last Saturday against Histon kept the FA Trophy run alive, but good victories in the league has kept the Lions on track to march up the table. We'll be bringing you full match commentary this afternoon, myself and Nick Keefe. And in the build-up, I'm joined with Francis Granger. So, Francis, you'll be on Twitter duty this afternoon, but we're looking forward to this, especially after last week's fantastic performance against Histon.
Yeah, I think the man of the victory was a statement of intent against some of the bigger oppositions. I mean, Oxford won't be an easy side. They brought quite a few players from Brackliff, if I'm correct, and they did beat Stockport 4-1, so it's a case of keeping that, not making sure don't get too complacent and keep relaxed, and they've got a very good chance today. Yeah,
it is a case of not being complacent because they are a good side, and perhaps, as Mark Bauer says in his programme notes today, not a team who are necessarily in the place or position in the field in the league that they perhaps deserve to be. Well, Mark spoke to us after the game against Histon.
I'm joined by Mark Bauer after the fine 3-0 FA Trophy win against Histon. Mark, passage into the next round of the FA Trophy in a clean sheet. Very convincing victory.
Yeah, possibly flattered as I touched the 3-0 scoreline in the end. I thought they came and played really well first half against us, and we were probably just a little bit guilty of when we got the ball not keeping it well enough and not being sharp enough with it, and just lost a little bit of discipline in our defensive play, which allowed them to get into our final third and in some positions where they could have hurt us. But we sorted that out at half time, just kept our shape a little bit better second half, and then when we did get it, used the ball a lot better, and some of the football we played in the second half was a joy to watch, and in the end I thought we were worthy winners.
Yeah, super goal in the first half from Danny Hall, a great volley, but he had to go off at half time. What's the word on the injury?
He got a kick on his ankle last week and it was a bit weak today, strapping on it, but he's just gone over on it. Nothing, one of those innocuous ones really, so it's swelled up a bit and he didn't have enough movement or strength in it to come out in the second half, which is a shame for him because I thought it was fantastic last week and was defending really well for us today and kept it off with a goal as well, so it's a shame for him, but Jake came in there and did the job for us as we'd expect after the performances he's putting in the last few weeks. So hopefully Danny won't be too long with his injury, but we'll just have a look at that and see how we go with it.
Yeah. Did you ever feel that they were going to get back in the game? Like you say, especially Lewis Taff was looking very impressive for them.
Yeah, I mean they're always likely to score a goal. They've got they throw bodies forward and they play nice football and they've got some quality at the top end of the pitch. It's not often that they fail to score. So you're always wary that they may score against you and they may create chances, but I thought we defended very well. I think we restricted them to very little given the amount of play that they had. I don't think they had many clear-cut chances with the exception of the one that bounced off the underside of the bar. We were the ones that probably didn't get in the final third as much as they did, but when we did, we created clear-cut chances and today we finished enough of them to win the game convincingly.
Cup competition, so age-old question, who do you want in the next round?
I don't mind, just happy to get through really. We can't control it and a home draw would be nice, but we've had I think we've had 4 home ties in the various cup competitions so far, but wherever we go and whoever we play at whatever level, I'm confident that we can give anyone a good game and hopefully we can stretch the run and go a bit further.
It's been a good run. Next week, a bit of a banana skin. Oxford City at home. It's a tricky game.
I think it will be, yeah. I think their league position probably is a little bit false at the minute. I think with some of the signings they made in the summer, I think they've had a couple of injuries who are coming back. I think they'll be a stronger side than maybe people expect. We had them watched, ironically, against Histon in the week. They've got some good players in their side and they beat Stockport 4-1 last week, so we certainly won't be taking them lightly, but with a game Saturday, Tuesday, we'll certainly be looking to take as many points as possible and carry on the momentum that we've got. So if we go out and do our jobs and play like we can do, there's no reason why we can't win the game on Saturday.
Mark Bauer there speaking to me after the game against Histon last Saturday. Fantastic performance, Francis, wasn't it? And rightly delighted with the result.
Yeah, rightly delighted, and I think there's now a real sense of continuity as well. He's picking up pretty much the same side as he did against Histon. I suppose one of the impressive aspects was that Histon did play quite well, and perhaps in earlier times of the season Guys who may not have got the win, but they won fairly convincingly, despite maybe being flattering the home team. But that's a real positive to take.
Yeah, it certainly was, and it was an impressive all-round second-half performance. Histon are one of those sides with lots of young players, players that show a lot of promise, and Lewis Taff, he was a real threat across the course of the 90 minutes last week, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was, and there's a few cases where Drench pulled off quite a few good saves, and I think Histon perhaps consider themselves unlucky at times that they didn't get something.
Well, Danny Boschel also spoke to Tim Richards after Tom Feeney after Saturday's victory.
Tom Feeney joined with the man of the match, Danny Boschel, and before the game you said how tough a match it would be, and well, it proved to be that case, but a 3-0 win in the end, job done.
Yeah, great result to be fair, but take no credit away from them. They're a good side, and to be fair, first half they were definitely a better side. Probably half an hour, 35 minutes, the team were on top without really creating loads, but the last 10 minutes before half time we come into it, and then second half, I thought we started really well second half and we kicked on.
What did you and Mark say at half time?
We just said we need to take care better on the ball. We're causing his own problems in terms of giving the ball away, and we needed to quicken his play up a little bit and things like that. But I think it showed just before half time we had a couple of decent moves, 1 and 2 touch stuff where we maybe could have got 1 or 2 goals. So just to quicken it up really and keep the ball better.
Through to the next round, do you have a preference?
I mean, an untie would be nice, wouldn't it? But no, it's nice to get through. It's like, I think Mark's obviously gone on record as saying, and which is right, that we want to have maybe a little run in this because everyone knows where it could end up. So, but no preference, probably just an home tie.
And Oxford City next Saturday, what are your thoughts on them?
It'll be another tough game. I've already played against them for Altrincham earlier on in the season. I think we went 2-0 up, but we ended up drawing 2-2 in game, and they're not bad, quite direct and things. But like I said, it'll be another tough game. There's no easy games in this league. I don't think table sometimes tells full story of what's going on. But obviously we'll just get at it again and try and get 3 points.
Thanks, Danny.
Danny Boschel there speaking to Tom Feeney after last Saturday's victory over Histon here at Nethermore that saw the Lions go through to the next round of the FA Trophy. But goodness me, wouldn't you believe it, the luck of the draw strikes us once again. Halifax away, Francis. A horrible tie, isn't it?
Yeah, the near rivals, the team that knocked Guiseley out last season. There will be a few cases for revenge in that one, to say the least.
Yeah, we'll not be unfamiliar with each other. Such an array of players from both sides that have played either for Guiseley or for Halifax. None less than Alex Johnson, who's come across from the Shaman this season and has been on fine form, hasn't he, for the Lions? But we also face some challenge from Kevin Holsgrove and Josh and the 3 players that went across there: Simon Ainge, Holsgrove. And Josh Wilson. Yeah,
they all played, very well for Guiseley. Josh Wilson chipped in with a fair number of goals. Holsgrove was, played a big part in it, and of course, many consider Simon Ainge has lost quite a big moment in Guiseley's season. So there's certainly a lot of talent in their squad.
Yeah, and it's going to be a tough tie. We'll be hopefully able to bring that game to you next Saturday, and of course next Tuesday's away trip to Worcester City, where they play at Kidderminster Harriers ground now, since their famous old stadium fell into the demolition of the demolition forces and is now being turned into a housing estate. But it was a wonderful occasion when we last went there. Of course, on that day, Mike Simons was playing for Worcester and caused us all sorts of problems. This afternoon, he'll be lining up for Oxford City in their starting 11. And we'll just go through those team lineups as we speak. Victor Francos for Oxford United, 1 to 11. Andy Ballard, Paul Stonehouse, Liam Malone, Lee Henderson, Chris Wilmot, Caden Jackson, Michael Pook, Mike Simons, Darren Pond and Tom Winters. And on the bench, Declan Benjamin, Chris Palmer, Adam Leroy, Zach McEachran and Marvin Robinson. So plenty of names familiar to us, both obviously from Oxford in their past, but also, as you rightly said, Francis, players that have played with Brackley and some very good teams. For the Lions, Stephen Drench in goal today. Back 4 that looks like it's going to be Andy Holdsworth and Rhys Maynell, the 2 full-backs right and left. A centre-half pairing of Adam Lockwood and Danny Hall. Danny Hall recovering from injury after last week having to go off at half-time with that ankle problem, but has recovered, passed a fitness test, much to the surprise of most of us, including Adi, who I spoke to earlier on, and will start this afternoon. The two holding midfielders, of course, Danny Boschel, who's been in fine form, along with Jack Rea back where he belongs in midfield, and then a midfield trio, Gavin Rothery in the centre of the three, Forrest and Wayne Brooksby on the outside, and then Alex Johnson up front. Jake Lawler on the bench today, Michael Potts, Craig Hobson and Louis Swain make up the subs bench, along with Stephen Dickinson. And it's going to be an interesting afternoon for that 11 see if they can get on and keep the good momentum going. Now, Francis, you spoke to Mark Bauer just before kick-off, and this is what he had to say.
I'm now joined by Mark Bauer, ahead of Guiseley's game against Oxford. So, Mark, 5 wins in a row, and your statement of intent against Histon with a very decent 3-0 win.
Yeah, it was good second half performance in that game, and just showed the potential that we've got really to kick on and hopefully keep on, keep the run going that we're on and improve the league position. So yeah, we're pleasing little spell winning, but we've got to do the right things to keep it going.
Yeah, and of course Oxford City, they are bottom of the table, as mentioned last week. It's a bit of some think it's a bit of a false pretense, because they did buy quite well and they did beat Stockport 4-1. So it's very much a case of making sure the players treat this, just like it was against the team near the top.
Yeah, they're. I don't think they're bottom, but they're certainly bottom half. But yeah, it'll be more difficult maybe than people are expecting today. I think they're a side that have had a few injuries and they're getting a few of those back, and the players that they signed in the summer maybe are settling in, and the 4-1 win against Stockport that they had a couple of weeks ago just shows that they are capable of beating anyone on their day. So we know that we've got to do the job right and make sure that we do the ugly side, we say it every week, but do the ugly side and put the hard work in, and then hopefully the quality that we've got will shine through and we'll be able to get another 3 points.
Yeah. Got some news on the injury. Danny Hall's out. I mean, how will this affect your plans for the defensive line?
He's fit. He's passed the fitness test, so he's playing. So Danny Hall will play with Adam Lockwood at centre half today. But that's the importance of having a good squad with Danny Ellis out and Ben Park unavailable. We still had Jake Lawler, who was there to come in and like he did last week, came in and did a good job for us. So it's good to have the strength in depth and the competition for places, and the players that are playing know that if their performances are not up to scratch, then there are people sat on the sidelines eager and desperate to get on the pitch and play.
Of course, earlier in the week, guys, you were drawn against Halifax in the next round of the FA Trophy. I mean, how was the mood regarding?
I think the players are looking forward to it. I mean, as a club, we probably couldn't have got a harder draw given the run that Halifax run and the home form they've had this season. I think they've got the best home form in the division, so it couldn't have got any harder in terms of draw. But the lads looking forward to it. It's a good setup they've got there, nice big pitch, and hopefully it'll suit our style of football. And there's a few players playing for us that have played for them, and vice versa. So it all adds to it. Local derby. And a break from the league, so we can go there. We've got expectation on us probably in these 2 games this week with Oxford and Worcester, but then it's completely transformed next week, so it's a nice break and change for the players to go into that game, and hopefully they'll thrive on it and we can come away with a result.
Okay, Mark, thanks very much.
Cheers.
Mark Bauer there, talking to Francis Granger at the start of this afternoon's game, and Mark clearly in positive mood there ahead of this match.
Yeah, certainly, and he also Danny Hall passing the fitness test. He can pick the same squad that played well against the 3-0 against Histon, so it's all good moods at the moment in the camp.
Yep, and he's going to obviously move on to get his the next one. So he's going to be looking towards getting a bit of consistency in the side here, as obviously being able to name the same team is a big boost. But Jake Lawler, of course, you can feel for him. He's done very well, hasn't he, at centre half? And for him to drop back down to the bench, it must be tough. It just goes to show, actually, after having a bit of a dearth of competition in that position since Danny Ellis went out injured, and Mark obviously then moved into management. It's positive again to see that there is some competition for places.
Yeah, I mean, Louis Swain, of course, did very well when he's come on. Craig Hobson's confident, and of course Jake Lawler, when he came on the second half, he did very well as well. So it's a bit of strength in depth for him for Guiseley.
Yep, certainly is. Now, Francis, you also caught up with Craig Shearston before the game, and we're just going to hear what happened when Craig gave you a bit of a down on, I think, the Christmas draw amongst some other things. So here's that interview.
Now joined by Craig Shearston, who's the secretary of the Guiseley Supporters Club. So, there's the Christmas cash draw for the fans on the 28th of December. Sort of an overview for people who are not too aware of it, but what the event will involve and what's...
Well, we've run the cash draw for a couple of years now, and it's been very successful. We generally print a couple of thousand tickets, and we generally sell somewhere between 12 and 1,500, which is always a good boost to the funds, which we then pass on to the club in one way, shape or form. You can buy tickets, or you can take tickets away and resell them and bring them back to us before the draw. On the 28th, we'll be having an event at the clubhouse after the match. At the event, there'll be some food as usual, and one or two games and quizzes, and perhaps some stand-up, sit-down bingo and things. People keeping people occupied, and then there'll be the ultimate draw, and of course, £1 in could equal £150 out to the lucky person.
Yeah, so it's very much more of a sort of a community thing to meet the sort of the guys' staff, and there's other events as well. Entice the whole evening.
Indeed, yes. We try and do it on the same day as a home match, so that we can take advantage of a resident crowd, and B, the fact that the players will be here and mingling with us, and there'll be loads of other people there available to take any questions and speak to the fans.
Yeah, and how did the idea originally come about? I mean, I'm guessing this is running for a few years now, is it?
Yeah, this will be the third year now that we've done the cash draw. It's always proved very successful. We get the players involved. And as I said, we generally sell somewhere between 12 and 1,500 tickets. And by the time we've paid out the prize fund, which is £150 this time, then we're usually left with a goodly sum to put into the Supporters Club funds, which then go to all the events that Supporters Club promotes and supports, and ultimately all that fund becomes available to the club.
Right, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So that's a Christmas cash draw on Tuesday the 28th of December. It starts at 8 o'clock.
Fantastic. That was a interview there with Craig Shearston from Francis Granger. So thank you, Francis. Francis has now got to take Twitter duties this afternoon. So he's busy preparing the tweets for the official Guiseley AFC account. And I'm delighted to say I'm now joined by Nick. Good afternoon, Nick. And we're looking forward, surely, to another 3 points now, aren't we?
Yeah, well, this was an unexpected treat today, Colin. I was sat at 2:30 at my desk doing my tax return, doing my accounts, and I saw the Guiseley bat symbol go up, and a few things occurred to me. One was, that's surprising how bright that is against the perfect blue cloudless sky we've got out here today. And second was, I better start layering up like an onion, because it's going to be freezing cold over there, but it's perfect football playing weather, crisp, still air. Two teams that one, a home team that's in good form, and an away team that we think that their recent form sort of
mixed is the best description, isn't it?
Yeah, and we think it sort of doesn't do justice to maybe the talent that they've got in the team. So Mark Bauer described this last weekend as a banana skin, didn't he, when he was talking to you? And they're out here in all yellow. Just to further that point, I've come full of jokes today, mate. I'm sorry. The third thing that occurred to me was...
I didn't hear a joke there.
The third thing that occurred to me was I hope you've brought some coffee, because I'm not going to have time to make any, as I almost literally flew over the Chevin to get here. But it should be an interesting game. I mean, Guiseley have got... they've obviously been in good form, but you feel like that almost gives them more to lose in a situation like this, playing against a team towards the bottom end of the table. It would be quite a demoralising day to lose the first game in a long time. So they're going to have to keep it tight at the back. It's good that Danny Hall's fit, both obviously for his work in defence and also for the fact that he's turning out to be quite a handy striker as well from centre back. Is as we'd expect. I don't know a huge amount about the Oxford City team, so I'm going to be looking to see how they line up, and hopefully we'll see an entertaining game.
Yeah, I mean, but Oxford, they've got some good players, haven't they, in this lineup? Actually, Mike Simons is a the man I think is the one to watch. He's the big centre forward who caused us all sorts of problems when we played Worcester last season when he was playing with them, and I thought he was incredibly impressive. In fact, I thought he led the line very well as the Lions were pinned back from a winning position against Worcester on that memorable evening. I don't know if you were here for that one, but we were pulled back from 3-1 to 3-3 and reduced to 9 men. But he was a live wire, and the return trip down to Worcester, he was the man who was the danger.
Well, my prediction, based on nothing other than his name and the day, is history of Doctor Who, and but we might even see an Amy Pond cameo. You see tonight. I'll be keeping an eye on the number 10, the Oxford City captain Darren Pond, who has left his sister Amy at home, I presume.
Right. Okay.
That's the standard we're going to be working with today. Fair warning.
Right. You do realise that last week in the Altrincham Colwyn Bay, there was suspicions that the linesman who was proposed might have been drinking. I'm just wondering, you haven't had a Rothery's underneath it. Jack Rea picks it up eventually on the edge of the 18-yard box, but he's tackled, and then the ball bounces kindly for the Oxford City goalkeeper Victor Frankos to collect. And a good movement there from Guiseley. A little fortuitous with the rub of the green when the ball bounced back to Jack Rea. But the Lions defend as Oxford launch. And it's Adam Lockwood who gets a boot on it. It's out into touch now for a throw into Oxford City on the left-hand side, about level with the edge of the 18-yard box. Don't forget, if you've got any comments you want to tell us, you can tweet us at Guiseley Radio. Watch out for our Twitter account. We'll try and give you a shout out if you do so, as long as it's clean. And if you are joining us from an Oxford City perspective, then you're very welcome. And we try to say things as we see them. Of course, we're Guiseley, but we'll try and give you a fair representation of the game this afternoon. At the moment, guys are just tidying things up and sending a long one forward with Stephen Drench from the goal. In towards the head of Alex Johnson, but just ahead of him, and then the long one forward. Johnson's beaten his man, but offside flag. Well, I'm not sure about that one. And the ball was speculatively knocked forward, and Johnson seemed to beat Lee Henderson for pace. It didn't seem to start from anything other than, well, onside position of his man.
No, I thought Alex Johnson started from behind the defender and then beat him for pace as the long ball went through from Lockwood.
Now, guys, you have an attacking moment here with Danny Forrest onto the edge of the area. He takes a right shot. Oh, what a block that is from Henderson. Forrest's drive had power and it had pace, and Henderson was just in the right place because it was on target, wasn't it, Dick?
Yeah, we were right behind it, and it was heading straight into the top corner. That would have been very difficult for the keeper to reach, so an absolutely vital intervention. But exactly what we want to see from Guiseley is showing some attacking intent when they're in possession and forcing some chances.
First corner of the game, 3 minutes into this match. Brooksby whips this one in up to the edge of the 6-yard box, headed away. And as far as Boschel. Boschel loops one back in, and then Johnson looks for it, tipped over the bar. Johnson was looking, and then the goalkeeper had to help it over the bar because it took a wicked bounce in front of him. As it was, the referee has given a free kick because Alex Johnson was in an offside position. Be interesting to see what he would have given it had it crept in.
Yeah, well, what we've already seen then is in the opening minutes is 3 situations where Alex Johnson, even playing as a lone striker as he does, is prone to or is apt to make something from nothing. 2 speculative balls through the middle where he's created a chance, and then earlier on already we've seen him with his back to goal, bringing other people into play. So if he carries on like that, he'll be making opportunities and goal-scoring chances as the game goes on.
And what's clear is that Frankos struggled as well with that low light right in his eyes. And now Guiseley look to take advantage of that and capitalise further. Danny Forrest comes down the left flank, well tackled, and then beaten away. Stonehouse it was, I think, who got the foot in there. And now there's a ball down the left-hand side now with Alex Johnson. Johnson runs at his man. Henderson goes to the byline, just overruns it, goes out for a goal kick. Very bright start from the Lions, though, Nick.
That's right, and all down the left-hand side so far. Danny Forrest and Rhys Maynell working well together. One of the big things, of course, is as we've seen ever since he joined, is the clearances that Adam Lockwood makes. He doesn't just clear the ball, he gets real distance and power behind them. And Guiseley can never be accused of playing Route 1 football under Mark Bauer, but those chances are made by the strength that he gets on his heads and on his kicked clearances that bring Alex Johnson and Danny Forrest into play.
Well, Guiseley have just got to tidy something up here at the back. They're under a bit of pressure as Oxford look to make some headway down the right-hand side, but they do well. Rhys Maynell gets the ball away, heads upfield looking for Alex Johnson. It's beaten back but picked up by Jack Rhea, and now it's with Andy Holdsworth inside his own half. Square to Boschel. Boschel plays a little ball forward to Rhea. Rhea dispossessed. Now a chance for a counter-attack from Oxford City. They come down with some intent with Darren Pond. Poor ball from Pond. Played it behind, I think it was Caden Jackson. Tom Winters on the left-hand side. And it went behind him and out into touch for a throw to Guiseley. Ball with Danny Hall. 2 goals in 1.5 games from the centre-back so far. It's not a bad return. Let's hope he can make it 3. Brooksby forward now looking for Johnson. Johnson causing all sorts of problems for the visitors so far. Has a run back 4, tries to feed in Brooksby, but just overhits the pass. It's gone behind for a goal kick, but good work again from Alex Johnson.
Yeah, it was, and these balls are going to continue going through the middle and over the top like that. And Alex Johnson does look sharp and alert. He's going to keep both of those centre-backs occupied and busy, even though he's going to move between who's marking him, but both of them need to stay alert because he's so quick when he peels away off the last man.
Long clearance there from the goalkeeper, Frankos. From the goal kick into the head of Danny Boschel, and then picked up here by Holdsworth. Holdsworth just, he might, under pressure, and it's now a throw-in to Oxford City in front of the Guiseley dugout.
More appropriately named left-sided players. Last week we had David October playing at left-back for Histon, who was just a month after his actual October appearance, but quite like having Tom Winters here today because it's properly cold, isn't it?
He's here all week.
Hopefully not. Hopefully I'll be gone by 5.
Long ball forward, looking for Alex Johnson. Very well by Chris Wilmot. Wilmot plays a good ball down that left-hand side. Simons is looking for it and feels he's had a little tug on him. Now Oxford just beginning to get a little bit more of a foothold in this game. Ballard forward now down the right-hand side where Rhys Maynell does appear to go in a little bit late on Jackson. Referee says nothing. And Jackson protests. The ball goes out for a throw-in. Arguably, Jackson might have had a free kick in that instance there. But as it is, it's a throw-in to Oxford. 0-0, if you're just joining us. Guiseley and Oxford City this afternoon in the Skrill North. Important game for both sides. Oxford need to start to pull clear of the bottom half of the table. In a bit of a relegation scrap themselves, despite having some good results in recent weeks. 4-1 trouncing of Stockport County, perhaps the highlight. But Guiseley are on a tremendous run of form, and it could transform their season from being one of looking downwards, if they were to get a result, to starting to look towards the upper half of the table. Now, good ball here from Oxford in the area from Pook. Michael Pook's distribution, looking for Tom Winters. And Winters is beaten to it, but a poor clearance really from Stephen Drench. Does find its way to Forrest, but it gave a chance for Caden Jackson to cut it out. I don't think it's what Stephen Drench intended with it. But Guiseley have the ball anyway. So
yeah,
no damage done.
No harm done there. And the Guiseley still in possession after it and still holding it on the left, which does seem to be where they are making their most productive work so far.
Rotherham now, just over the halfway line into the Oxford half. Picks the ball up, gives it to Holdsworth, collects it back from him, tries to play a little 1-2 with the captain, but is dispossessed. And now it's a chance once again for Oxford to counter-attack. Jackson the target man this time. Played in by Darren Pond, the captain. Jackson's just beaten to it by Rhys Maynell. Ballard will take a throw-in for Oxford inside the Guiseley half. Looks for options around him. There's not many on, so it looks like he might be going for a long one here. Steps back. And with Simons in the area, he may be, well, he's inevitably going to be the target man here. Long one, up towards Simons. Simons gets on it, Lockwood and Hall have to deal with him. He gets the touch down eventually, finds Michael Pook, 30 yards from goal, plays it out to the right here to Ballard. Ballard, left-footed drive into the area, cleared by Guiseley, and then a high foot from Rothery on Liam Malone. Means that Guiseley concede a free kick in a dangerous position. I'd say some 25 yards from goal. This is a promising opportunity for Oxford.
Yeah, this is one made for a left footer, isn't it? And Tom Winters has placed the ball just right of centre, just about sort of 10 yards outside of the box, and this is a dangerous opportunity for Oxford City.
Yeah, referee today just getting the wall lined up and looking to line things up. Billy Khatib, he has got there's a 4-man Guiseley wall, 2 players over it, Michael Pook and Tom Winters. It's an indirect free kick, so it'll need a touch before they can take the shot. And Pook is going to take the knock to Winters. Winters drives it with the left foot, blocked by the wall and up to the halfway line. Johnson tries to get hold of it. He's beaten away by Paul Stonehouse. A good ball forward now. It's Oxford who can get the ball into the area here. It's driven in low by Winters, finds the feet of Simons. Simons can't control. It's out for a throw into Oxford though as Guiseley clear. A moment there where the chance could have gone either end, Nick.
Yeah, Alex Johnson, the lone man left forward, up against two forwards, still looking like if the ball comes his way, he can cause problems. But this is a good sustained period of pressure for Oxford City, and it looks like potentially another long throw coming in.
Yeah, long throw down the left-hand side as Oxford attack. And it is indeed launched in towards Simons, headed away. It's going to be a corner, though, to the visitors there, first of the game. Protests from Boschel. He says that he was held down as he tried to make connection with that. He said it was an unusual connection he made with it, but it's gone behind for a corner. And it's going to be Darren Pond, the captain for Oxford City this afternoon, who will go across on this left-hand side as Oxford attack the Guiseley goal. They've got plenty of yellow shirts in the area. The ball whipped into the edge of the 6-yard box, cleared by Forrest it was on the near post. Out for a throw-in. Sustained pressure from the visitors.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they'll have been wanting to do. They know coming to a home ground of a team that's informed that their chances are going to be probably limited, but they've kept possession in the Guiseley half for about sort of 3 or 4 minutes now. They've had 2 or 3 chances to get the ball into the box and make a clear-cut chance, and they'll be looking to with this throw.
Long one again into the area, headed away by Hull, bounces off Brooksby and falls again for Simon. Simon says back to goal, goes back to the left flank and then tries to get the cross into the area. It's cleared well by Holdsworth, but immediately returned into the box. But Stephen Drench can claim that one with comfort and then tries to release Alex Johnson brilliantly down this left-hand side. Great distribution from Drench. Finds Johnson. Johnson slips, but gets back up and recovers. Wins his side a throw-in. No, the referee's given it the other way. Must have taken a deflection off Johnson at the end there.
Looking diagonal from one area to the other. Perfect distance in front of Alex Johnson for him to run onto, facing goal, moving at speed. But as you say, didn't come to anything. But that's how quickly you can unlock a team with a pass like that.
Looks like a bit of a push on Simons, but referee doesn't see anything wrong with it. Throw in for Oxford City as they take the throw in from their own half, looking to work down the right-hand side as they attack the Guiseley goal, headed on by Simons into the feet of Pond. And Pook. Pook loses out, and Rothery capitalises, closes down Lee Henderson, who has to step across quickly to clear, blasts it off Rothery, and it's gone out for a throw into Oxford City.
Yeah, Henderson was surprised by how quickly he was chased down there.
Guiseley 0, Oxford City 0 here at Nethermoor. And we've only had 13 minutes of this game. It's fairly even Steven stuff at the moment. The best early chances have gone to Guiseley. And Oxford are beginning to mount a bit of pressure again in the last 5 minutes or so. Holdsworth steps across, gives it to Boschel inside the Guiseley half. Good clearance this from Guiseley. Patient play, finds Danny Forrest. Forrest making some headway down the left-hand side. He's got Alex Johnson ahead of him. Cuts in, tries to get it onto the other flank. A great ball out here to Brooksby. Brilliantly taken down by Brooksby as well. Gets the ball into the area, looking for Johnson at the back post, and it's headed it home. Guiseley have the lead. Johnson onside this time. A fantastic play to that goal. Forrest it was, sprayed it out to Brooksby. Brooksby with a brilliant cross. Johnson peeled off at the back post and heads it home, and it's Guiseley 1, Oxford City 0.
Fantastic team goal that. Danny Forrest cut inside. Everybody in the ground was expecting him to just try and work it onto his right foot for the shot, but instead he was patient and he had really good vision to knock it all the way out to the right to Wayne Brooksby, who, as you say, perfect back post cross to give Alex Johnson a poacher's tap in front of the keeper.
Well, what a fantastic start that is, because just up to that point, Oxford were just beginning to look like they were the team that were more likely to score because they'd had more of the ball in the Guiseley half. But the Lions have got the opening. Poor ball here from Boschel, almost picked up there by Jackson. Taken past him by Danny Forrest, though. Calms it down, gives it back to Maynell. And the ball's with the back line at the moment. And up steps Lockwood. Down the left-hand side, looking to release Forrest. Headed away by Ballard. Ballard up to the halfway line. Headed on by Maynell. Knocked forward by Rothery. Then a bit of a late tackle by Forrest. No malice in it, and it's a free kick to Oxford City at right back.
It does mean that if City had any designs on keeping plenty of men behind the ball and seeing how long they could keep this 0-0 and maybe take an away point, those plans are out of the window now. So City will have to get men forward. So we'll potentially got an interesting or an exciting rest of the game in prospect.
Ball with Wayne Brooksby. Brooksby lays it back to Holdsworth. Oxford getting players forward, committing yellow shirts into the Guiseley half. Launch one looking for Simons. Hall gets there first and it's knocked out for a throw-in. Oxford get the ball underway again, moving down the left-hand side. Winters looking for the feet of Pond. Pond beaten to it, and it's knocked out for a throw-in. Once again to Oxford City. Once again down that left with the centre circle. The ball moves quickly into play. Darren Pond tackled. Another throw. Steady progress for the visitors. And then a return into the feet of Pook. And out to the other side. And they try to make some headway with Ballard down the right-hand side. But Ballard's forced backwards. Plays it all the way back to his goalkeeper. Alex Johnson hasn't given that one up. Goalkeeper Frankos lays it out to Wilmot. And Wilmot is robbed for a moment by Brooksby, and then he sends it back. And Alex Johnson is giving the goalkeeper no time whatsoever to settle. The long one forward looks for Jackson. Jackson's beaten to it. Forrest is bundled over himself this time. Now Oxford come forward here with Darren Pond. Out to Winters. Winters gets the ball into the area looking for Jackson. Jackson gets a flick on. And it's just gone out. He didn't get a connection Hiller wanted at all. It's gone out for a goal kick.
No, but Oxford have responded in the right way to going a goal down. They're still trying to play football, but Darren Pond is just dropping a little bit deep, a bit behind the lone striker Simons to just link up in midfield. He's getting across from all across left and right of the pitch, but he's there, sort of trying to link the play up, a bit like Gavin Rothery's doing for the home side, and so they've not panicked. Oxford, they've tried to get themselves back into the game. And that's why it's important that guys that keep their work rate up since they've gone a goal up, because draw today.
18 minutes gone. Guiseley 1, Oxford City 0. The goal scorer Alex Johnson on 15 minutes. Good finish, a close range header after a great passing move involving Forrest and Brooksby. Now the ball back in Guiseley. Another throw. This time it's Andy Ballard who has the chance to launch one long. Takes it short this time though. And it's into the feet of Pond. Pond will try and get this one into the area. He does so. Almost finds Jackson, but Jackson's tackled. But it is a corner for the visitors. And they continue to look to prise open the Guiseley defence. On the right-hand side, a corner. And there's plenty of intent. Henderson and Wilmot, the two centre halves, are in the area. Guiseley have everyone back just at the moment. Ball goes in onto the edge of the 6-yard box. It falls down on the edge of the area. Tremendous drive, punched away by Drench. I'm not quite sure who was the man who actually made the connection. It looked like somebody like Henderson for me from the edge of the 18-yard box, but straight at the goalkeeper. Such venom. If it had been either side of him, I doubt that Stephen Drench would have saved that.
No, well, he had to palm it straight down into the ground, didn't he? It was a real just get behind it and block it sort of save, and that tells you what you need to know. If it had gone either side of him, it'd have been very difficult to keep out. So Drench was relieved to see it heading straight towards him.
Guiseley get things back underway. They've had a free kick, and it's Rhys Maynell. who picks it up, takes it over the halfway line, switches play brilliantly, finds Brooksby on the right-hand side. Brooksby's closed down by 2 players immediately. Tackled by Winters, throw into Guiseley. And the passing has been excellent from Guiseley when they've got it into this final third, especially as it was in the build-up to the goal in switching play from one flank to the other.
Absolutely, and in the early part of the season, Guiseley weren't using great width like that in the way that they are now, and it's basic kind of football theory, isn't it? But if you make the pitch bigger, if you use all parts of it, then teams are going to find it more and more difficult to mark you closely and to close you out.
Well, guys, we've just won a free kick. A good position this, some 25 yards from the touchline, about level with the corner of the 18-yard box on the right-hand side. Chance to get the big men forward and deliver a cross in here from Wayne Brooksby, who will deliver this ball. There's about 4, 5, 6 white shirts on the edge of the 18-yard box. Guys lead by a goal to nil here. Guiseley AFC radio. Brooksby whips this one into the head of Rothery. Rothery just doesn't get enough on it, and it's rather gone a bit tamely high and over the bar for a goal kick. But good to see the attacking intent still there from the Lions after going that goal up. You get the feeling there could be a couple of goals in this game.
Yeah, it's an entertaining game to watch. Two teams are both trying to play passing football, and you know, the team that's the away team, the visiting team, has lost the early goal. They're definitely not going to be happy to go away with nothing, so they will at some point be throwing men forward to try and get something from the game, and it's up to Guiseley to either kill it off by getting a second or a third, or really man the pumps and hold Oxford out.
Ballard now comes forward down the right-hand side, gets the ball into the edge of the 18-yard box, headed away only as far as Malone. Malone back out here to Ballard. Ballard back into Jackson. Jackson under pressure. Has to go backwards, goes out to the touchline. Great bit of skill from Jackson. Heads it back infield now after just walking past. Boschel still goes as Jackson gets it into the feet of Pond. Laid back and then cleared up to Gavin Rothery, who through moments ago had just gone down clutching his ankle after a heavy tackle. Full committed tackle actually. And Guiseley pick up the ball now with Danny Forrest inside the Oxford City half, inside their own half. Back to Boschel. Boschel square to Rhea. Rhea just comes over the centre circle, over the halfway line now. Looks to his right, plays it into the feet of Brooksby. Makes the overlapping run, but Brooksby's held up well by Winters. And goes back to Holdsworth. Nicely square, a little bit of afters between Brooksby and Winters. But referee just keeps the ball moving and allows Guiseley to play on because they've got the possession. Still on the halfway line here. Good possession football, but not making any headway into this Oxford defence. Out wide now to Brooksby. Brooksby spins off his man, plays a ball forward, looking to feed in Alex Johnson. Well cut out, though, by Henderson. And then Oxford still not defending particularly securely. Lay it back to Ballard, and Ballard has to blast it off the oncoming Danny Forrest, but wins his side a goal kick in the end.
Yeah, things were a little unseasonally heated between Brooksby and Winters there, weren't they? And Wayne Brooksby is one of those sort of players where if you get him fired up like that, he's going to try and put the ball between your feet or knock it round you and beat you for pace all for the rest of the game. So that might prove to be a counterproductive measure that by Winters.
Now Guiseley have once again got the ball away from the back line, laid it up towards Alex Johnson. Johnson should have a free kick, I would have thought that time, because Ballard had his arms all over him, but referee's not prone to give decisions in this game so far, for either side.
No, he's trying to let the game run, but Alex Johnson is having his shirt tugged, and I'm sure he's giving as good as he's getting, but as we've said in previous games, it's all right as long as it doesn't start escalating and turning into a bit of a bad-tempered game.
Now, good ball there from Forrest. Lets in Alex Johnson down the left flank. Comes to the edge of the area. Lays the ball right again. Out to Wayne Brooksby. Good change of the direction once again of the flanks. Back now to Holdsworth and then into Danny Boschel. Boschel steps forward. Square to Rhys Maynell. Rhys Maynell and Boschel just exchange passes in midfield. And then Boschel looks to see if he can carve anything open. Goes left this time to Maynell. Maynell with a good ball into the area, looking for Forrest. Headed away from him by Wilmot, only as far as Jack Rhea. Into the feet of Rothery. Out here to Holdsworth. Guiseley holding on to the ball, just prizing and teasing at Oxford at the moment. Rothery now goes on a bit of a run, a surging run to the edge of the area, plays a lovely ball into Johnson. Johnson tries to turn his man, does it so brilliantly. A great goal with the left foot. A superb goal. A lovely little run from Gavin Rothery. Laid the ball into Alex Johnson. He jinked and turned and fired the ball into the back of the net. And that's Guiseley 2, Oxford City 0.
And that's the other type of goal that Alex Johnson can score. The first was a poacher's goal, a tap-in, being in the right place at the right time. But that was a goal of real craft and patience. And he turned onto his right, looked for all the world like he was going to shoot with his stronger right foot. And then he's fooled the defender and pretty much everyone else in the ground as well by turning again onto his left, holding it a second longer, and then blasting it into the far corner of the net with his left foot.
Well, Johnson's been the difference. He's on a hat-trick now. 2 goals in the opening 25 minutes. A fantastic start here for Guiseley. And harsh on Oxford City in a way, because they've come forward and shown plenty of attacking intent themselves. But defensively, they've been pulled apart by this man, Alex Johnson, who's got the ball in the halfway line. Loses out this time. Combination of Malone and Henderson.
I think you're right, Colin. The difference is just how clinical Guiseley have been with the chances they've made so far, and that's all. That, equal number of good opportunities and attacking possession and moves have been had by both teams. But one striker looks particularly sharp and eager today, and maybe he's got half an eye on returning to his old club next weekend, and he's making sure he peaks just in time for the trip over to Calderdale to play Halifax.
Well, he's got another important game on Tuesday against currently bottom-placed Worcester City. And Oxford, well, they've not had the greatest of starts to the season. It's getting a little bit worse this afternoon. Guiseley leading by 2-0. That's our good news. And at the moment, the Lions are in possession of the ball, with Daddy Boschel just coming over the halfway line, looking for opportunities to feed someone through. Finds Forrest. Forrest lays it out to the right-hand side with Wayne Brooksby. He's got Holdsworth overlapping. Brooksby cuts in field. Lays it square. Leaves it for Forrest. Good ball from Boschel. Boschel into Johnson in the area. Turns his man twice again. Gets a shot away. This time blocked by Henderson and behind for a corner. Once again, lovely build-up play from the Lions.
Yeah, but the Oxford City defence not going to be fooled twice. When AJ turned onto his left foot that time, they were prepared for it. So he's maybe going to have to score the next one with his head.
Well, Guiseley have a corner now. We're getting carried away here in the box. They're 2-0 up. We're 2-0 up. But it's going to be a delivery from Wayne Brooksby on this left-hand side as Guiseley attack the Oxford goal. Brooksby whips it in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Headed away well. Only as far as Jack Rear. Jack Rear leaps to win the ball into the area. Headed on, and eventually chance for Wilmot to clear and poke the ball up to the halfway line. Holdsworth picks it back, sends it straight back in towards the edge of the area. Won by Oxford, and then eventually Paul Stonehouse gets the final touch and lofts the ball into Guiseley's half. The only man in there, any chance of receiving that was Stephen Drench. But a tremendous start for the Lions here. And with 17 minutes left to play of this first half, a great start. It's just a case of making sure we don't let anything slip now.
Well, it's very early in the game to be talking about it, but I think the next aim has to be to see our game, preferably this game, off with a clean sheet victory. Because since we've come back into form, we've been getting all sorts of interesting stats about the first win since whenever and the first clean sheet since whenever. But this would potentially be the first win with a clean sheet in the league since that Workington game, which was sort of 93 minutes of 0-0 and an added time. Last minute to last gasp goal from Jake Lawler, wasn't it?
Test to see if we're back on air. Test to see if we're back on air. So another test just to see if we're back on air. Hopefully going to be able to bring you the second half live, but we're just going to see if we're back on air and have another test. Have you got it?
Oh, that's because it's not straight to the beginning.
What is it on? Good afternoon and welcome back here to Nethermore. And Guiseley are leading at the moment. 2-0 at the break. And at the moment the Lions have taken the field for the second half. I'm sorry if we've missed us. Hopefully we are back on air. We've had a bit of a technical problem since we got rudely booted out of the electrical supply here at Nethermore. But at the moment, we're back, we're up and running, and hopefully, if you can keep us up to speed with whether you're picking us up, that would be a great help. Hopefully, we'll be able to bring you the rest of this game live here on Guiseley AFC Radio. Technical gremlins aside, the Lions have come out for the second half with no changes. And Oxford United, Oxford United, there's a slip. Get beaten up from the visiting fans. Oxford City, likewise, will be looking to make amends. We saw the 2 goals, and brought you the 2 goals in the first half. Let's hope we can bring you a third now. Alex Johnson's got the ball down on the right-hand side. Goes down towards the corner flag. Has to lay the ball back here to Brooksby. Brooksby just hugs the touchline. Uses the left boot to play the ball back in field. Heavy touch from Reece Maynell. Back out to the right-hand side where Danny Forrest takes the ball down, on the left-hand side rather. Into Jack Rea. Rea forward. Maynell helps it on. Looking for Gavin Rothery. Rothery's chasing down Wilmot. Wilmot turns well. And then a bit of a heavy challenge from Wilmot on Rothery, just as Wilmot lost the ball ahead of him, and Rothery goes to ground. And Guiseley now have a free kick out on the right-hand side. And it's a chance here to whip this ball in. And Guiseley have got players lining up around the penalty spot. Do let us know if you've picking us up now. We think everything's running from our tests and checks. And Guiseley, you can tweet us at Guiseley Radio. The Lions have a free kick on the left-hand side here. The ball played short to Rothery on the edge of the area. Rothery, don't know quite what he was trying to do there. Looked like he might line up a shot. In the end, sort of miscued the pass towards Danny Boschel. And then Guiseley had to be sharp and on their mettle to watch for the counter-attack. And it's going to be a throw-in for the Lions inside their own half, Nick.
So I think I've got to the bottom of it. I think what's happened is, as we've got into the winter, apparently we share our power supply with the prawn sandwich end of the sponsors lounge, and as they've switched from their prawn sandwiches to their electric heaters and their hot soups for the winter, we've been the electric casualties of that.
Ah.
But I've been assured the prawn sandwich electricity meter will have extra coins fed into it so that it's not tripping out.
Guiseley come forward here. Jack Rea finds Gavin Rothery. Poor decision from Rothery. Gives the ball away. Now a chance for Oxford City to counter-attack. They come down with Jackson. Just comes over the halfway line. Does well. Dribbles past a couple of players. He's got to find another man. He's got very few options ahead of him. Goes back to Ballard. Ballard square to Wilmot. The centre-half comes forward over the halfway line. Very experienced player, Chris Wilmot. Formerly of Wimbledon and Oxford United. Ball forward now by Pook into the feet of Simmons. Simmons holding off the challenge of Hall. Lays it back here to Pook. Pook's just feeds one forward, looking for Tom Winters. It's beyond him and into the hands of Stephen Drench. Difficult half-time team talk, isn't it, at 2-0 in a way, because you've got to keep doing what you do in the first half, obviously. But you know the opposition are going to try and change things and make things harder for you in the second half, and maybe change formation and change the way they approach the game.
Well, and we've seen Guiseley prone to being caught after a half-time break, after a tactical switch, haven't we? I mean, we don't talk about the Altrincham game anymore, but even in more recent games where we've been ahead and teams have added an extra man into midfield, or they've added a third sort of forward who's just dropping a little bit deeper, that the defenders and the midfielders haven't quite decided who's picking up. So Guiseley have to be aware that this remains a banana skin every bit as much as it was at the beginning of the game, because the stakes are very high. If you come out at 2-0 up for the second half and then end the game with anything less than 3 points, then that's a massive disappointment. So Guiseley cannot afford to switch off or to just assume that this becomes an easy game now.
Well, they certainly can't. As it is, Oxford are just getting a bit more of the ball here with the goalkeeper Frankos launching one long onto the head of Simmons. Simmons flicks it on. Looking for Pont to collect, but Guiseley clear. Winters now on the left-hand side for the visitors. Plays it into the feet of Stonehouse. Rather ambitious ball into the area. Not the delivery he'll have hoped for, and it's into the hands of Stephen Drench. Drench out wide here to Forrest. Forrest just flicks it on, looking for Johnson. Johnson takes it down well, just inside the Oxford half. Good ball from Johnson. Feeds in Danny Forrest down the left flank. Forrest has to get past Ballard. He does so. Gets the ball into the area, headed away. Picked up now by Jack Rea. 30 yards from goal. Plays it out to the width where Danny Boschel actually picks it up and now makes a surging run in field. Out to the right-hand side now. Picked up by Brooksby. Brooksby into the feet of Holdsworth. Holsworth can't control. And it's Stonehouse who intercepts. Plays it up to Simmons. Simmons takes it down so well. Muscles away 3 players and plays a good ball into Winters. Winters now into the feet of Darren Pond. Pond holds it on the left flank, gets the ball into the area, looking for Jackson, over the head of Jackson. Good movement there from Oxford. Stevens makes sure it goes forward the goal kick. But Oxford City just showing some real attacking intent there.
Yeah, Mike Simons is a huge unit, and although we've seen him trudging around the pitch, cutting a bit of a forlorn figure really since Oxford City went 2-0 down. Any time that he decides he's really going to have a go at his defender, he is way too strong and way too tall for anything Guiseley have got around him. So they're doubling up and hoping they can kind of nip it out from around his feet, but he remains a big danger as the game goes on.
The Lions lead 2-0. The goal scorer, Alex Johnson, 2 good first half goals. A super finish on 15 from close range, and an even better one on 25 as he turned his man and blasted home. Now a long ball into the area looking for Winters, is headed away by Hall and into the hands of Stephen Drench. Guiseley just take a moment here to calm things down. And a long ball forward, looking for the free kick will be given because the linesman on the far side there had spotted that Winters was offside. And it'll be a free kick. And it's Stephen Drench who will take. It's 30 yards from his own goal. Good incisive movement again though there. Simmons just showing what he can offer up front. Not only is he big and strong, but he can also produce a good reverse pass and find another player in the attacking move. Now Guiseley have just earned a free kick themselves. Wilmot going through the back of Alex Johnson. Johnson invites those sort of fouls, doesn't he, so often?
Well, there was a feeling in the first half that the referee wasn't really giving a huge amount to the home team. I didn't see it quite so starkly as that. I think he was trying to let the game go as much as possible, but Johnson does invite physical attention.
Brooksby takes the free kick, whips it into the edge of the 6-yard box. Well collected by Victor Francos.
Because if Johnson is allowed to, when he's got his back to goal, bring it down and turn, then we've all seen, and the defenders know just how dangerous he is. So they are making sure he doesn't turn by whatever means necessary, and I'm pretty sure that's what we'd expect our own defenders to do, playing against a striker like that. And it's up to the referee now to make sure he gives the free kicks. That's being done unfairly.
Now Kevin Rothery's got the ball inside the Oxford half, gives it to Forrest. Forrest back to Rothery. Rothery lays it back to Boschel. Boschel looks to tee up a pass. In the end, goes left and finds Rothery. Forrest now hugs that touchline, goes past his man, tries to get past 2 of them. Ballard it is who steps across to knock that one out for a throw-in. And again, Guiseley have a throw on the left-hand side. Looks to me like Jake Lawler is warming up on the bench. I don't know if that means that Hall has got a continuation of the problem, or whether he might be introduced for some tactical purpose.
That's an interesting point, isn't it? That when we see Jake Lawler warming up now, we assume it's that he's going to come on in the centre of defence, and up until Danny Ellis's injury, that was never a position we'd seen him play. I don't know why you would want to change the midfield particularly right now, but we'll keep an eye out, see if we can spot any limps. Now
is a chance here for Jackson to get through the Guiseley defence, but the ball cannons off rather unfortunately for him, off his chest and into the hands of Stephen Drench. But this game could turn on a goal for Oxford. If they were to get one back, I think we'd be looking at a very different second half. At the moment, 2 goals. Guiseley are comfortable, but they still have plenty of football yet to play here. And the Lions have to just be on their mettle, especially with this man around. Simmons clearly handles the ball inadvertently, to be fair. He jumps up to take it down on his chest. It bounces off his chest and onto his hand. And it was as obvious as daytime, but it's a free kick.
Yeah, that's one you don't see very often, a player sort of heading it onto his own hand that's sort of about in front of his face. So it was sort of accidental, but his arms weren't down by his side, so I guess the referee had to give it.
Free kick. Stephen Drench takes the ball and delivers it out towards Brooksby, but it's hit touch rather than the man. Stonehouse takes the throw. And the visitors launch the ball forward again, looking for Simmons. Taken down now by Stonehouse, picked up by Pond, but he gives the ball to Alex Johnson. Johnson takes it away. He's got 2 men to beat, tries to go past them both. Still puts a manful effort in there with 4 players around him. Jack Rea gets the ball and then earns a free kick because Pond tried to intercept and win the ball but was a little late on Rea. And a free kick to Guiseley now. Sort of midway inside the Oxford City half, but a chance here to get some of the big men up for this one. Danny Hall fancies his 3rd perhaps in as many games. He's on the edge of the area. Goes short in the end to Boschel. Boschel sprays it out to the left-hand side where Forrest takes it down and has one of those little runs in field again that he's been doing so well this afternoon. He's this time lost out. I'm not quite sure why. There was a free kick given. Oxford took it quickly. It was quickly intercepted and it's gone out anyway for a throw-in to the visitors on the right-hand side. Guiseley 2-0 up here. Not exactly cruising, I'd say, but at the moment it's looking good. Wilmot heads it forward, taken down here by Brooksby, who picks up the loose ball, played into the feet of Rothery. Rothery out to the left-hand side once again, and it's Forrest once again who comes forward. He's got Ballard to beat, into the area, tries to chip past him. He's lost out this time, and now Jackson can come away with the ball for the visitors. Play the ball up to Simmons. Simmons takes it down. Oxford trying to make some headway down the right flank. A long one forward, headed away by Lockwood. Looking for Rothery, but good work again from Oxford to keep the ball down that right-hand side. And now Ballard has a throw. Launches that long throw into the feet of Simmons, but he's right down the right-hand side. Earns his side a corner, though. Under pressure from Hall and Lockwood. Lockwood seems a bit frustrated. He's maybe a frustrator. He's taken a knock to the head, but either way, Oxford City have a corner on this right-hand side.
Yeah, and these are the moments that Guiseley have to show that they want to keep this clean sheet. They've got to hold the opposition out from this corner.
Corner comes in into the 6-yard box. Drench fumbles, and the referee gives a free kick. Looked a little kind, that to me, to be fair. He was under pressure from, I think it was Stonehouse who was up there.
It's hard to see when there's so many bodies in the box, but there wasn't from here an obvious foul on the keeper, but the referees do tend to give the keepers the benefit of the doubt in those situations nowadays, for better or for worse.
Andy Ballard it was. Vice-captain I was reading, so he's trying to lead by example, but in that instance, a little bit over-enthusiastic in the challenge on Stephen Drench. Guys, you have the free kick inside their own half, launched long, and then a little bit of head tennis results in a throw-in for Oxford City inside Guiseley half. And they've got a chance to make their mark once again. Moving down this right-hand side, it's Ballard who can launch them long. He's just holding the ball up for a moment. He does find the feet of Simmons. Simmons under pressure, can't control it. Into the feet of Rothery. And now Boschel can just calm things down. Lays it back to the goalkeeper. Under pressure from Winters. But Drench does well. Plays it upfield, looking for Alex Johnson. Rothery's chasing and hassling as well when Pook picked up the loose ball. Rothery and Johnson both looking for it. Rothery goes in onto the goalkeeper. Frankos launches it long though and beyond the striker. Picked up by City. And the foot of Stonehouse tries to feed the ball into Jackson. Caden Jackson is caught offside. And it's going to be a free kick to Guiseley.
I wonder whether as the second half goes on, Mark Bauer might think about getting one or two other players involved with 2 more games over the next week, two big away games. One big because it's a huge journey down to Kidderminster to play Worcester, and the other one obviously at Halifax next Saturday. I wonder whether he might just want to get Louis Swain and Michael Potts and 1 or 2 of the bench involved. I also think, look, I mean, AJ would be furious to be taken off on a hat-trick, but I also wonder whether maybe give the defenders something different to look at. Might just stop this gradual rising confidence that City are having as the second half goes on.
Well, they've just had the ball forward there, but a good clearance from Lockwood. And now it's back into the Oxford half. Johnson battling with Henderson for the ball. cleared by Wilmot. A long ball played forward, looking for the header Simmons, but very good header from Danny Hall back to the goalkeeper. And then it's down the left channel once again for Danny Forrest to chase onto, but he's beaten to it by Henderson, and it's back to the goalkeeper. And out here to Stonehouse. Stonehouse launches it down the left flank, looking for Simmons. Simmons takes it down very well. Square into the feet of Malone. Poor ball from Malone, up in the air, aimless, but still Oxford retain possession until Guiseley step across. Brooksby just controls it, bundled to the ground, but no real malice in the challenge, and the ball goes back to Stephen Drench. Referee just lets things play on. And Oxford just beginning to orchestrate a few moves of their own into the Guiseley half. Ball forward, looking for Pond. Pond hits the ground under the challenge from Hall, but no foul, and now Guiseley can come forward with Rothery and Boschel combining well over the halfway line. Out wide here to Forrest. Forrest takes it down with the right boot, gets the ball into the area, looking for Johnson. Johnson leaps to make a connection, jumps into the air, gets it onto the edge of the foot, but just over the bar from Johnson. He did very well to get onto the end of it in the end, and behind for a goal kick.
Oh, and a fantastic move, guys. They have been under the cosh for the last 5 minutes and almost playing on the break there. Danny Forrest out on the left, getting the ball in with his left foot, showing he's willing to go outside and use his left. And that was 50-50, wasn't it? Johnson and the keeper right in on it together.
Brooksby's now robbed. Stonehouse goes towards the edge of the area, skips past a man, gets a left shot away. What a shot there from Brooksby. What a left-footed drive, but it's just over the bar. Got my words mixed up there.
Well, it would have been a contender for goal of the season if that had gone in, so it would have been a shame to have confused commentary for it. But and that's the kind of thing Wayne Brooksby can do. He can go all game just sort of drifting in and out of it and then produce a moment of brilliance like that.
Yeah, he just did so well. Robbed Stonehouse and then drove in on goal. Connected with it well after beating a man, but just couldn't stop the shot from rising. Guiseley now move down this right-hand side with a throw-in. Andy Holdsworth launches it forward, looking for Brooksby. Another throw-in to the Lions. 2-0 up here. Alex Johnson with the 2 goals in the first half. Here on Guiseley AFC radio. And Holdsworth and Johnson and Rhea combine nicely. Johnson just can't get the ball into Rhea as he was trying to feed it through the mass of yellow shirts, and now is a chance for a counter-attack. I'd have to say Liam Malone looked like he was taken down there, but they've kept going of Oxford City anyway with Jackson on the right-hand side. They're coming forward in numbers. Ball into the area. Ballard looking to get on the end of it, having made a surging run from right back. In the end, Guiseley just managed to batter the ball away, only as far as Pook. Pook plays it out to the left-hand side where Winters will take this down and get the ball into the area. Good left-footed cross, headed away by Lockwood. Only as far as Pook now. Oxford City asking a few questions here. Pook into the feet of Jackson. Jackson just fails to control the ball in the first attempt, but retains it, and the ball comes into the area eventually. It finds Pond. Darren Pond, the captain, sprays it out to Jackson. Jackson's offside. And before he could cut the ball across, it's going to be a free kick to the Lions.
Actually, Caden Jackson seems to be quite a similar player to Wayne Brooksby in a lot of ways. He sort of drifts in and out of the game, but every so often he looks like he's just been jabbed with a hot poker, and he produces something quicker and more skillful than anyone has been sort of ready to expect. And he's looked dangerous at points in the second half.
Well, there will be a Guiseley change, I would think. It looks like Potts to me over there on the far side, if my eyes don't deceive me.
I would expect that would be for Jack Ray.
Well, in the meantime, plays continued and Oxford City have the ball. It's here with Pook. Pook puts the ball down the right-hand side, looking for Ballard. Ballard square now, gets the ball into the area. Boschel steps across, he's tackled. Late tackle, though, from Jackson, and it's a free kick to Guiseley on the edge of the 18-yard box.
We're about to see who the substitution's for. The other option that would be obvious would be Danny Boschel, with 2 games ahead in a week, maybe to give him a rest.
Well, it's actually Gavin Rothery.
Oh, there you go. There's no point in predicting, is there?
Goes to show what we know. Michael Potts on for Rothery. I have to say, Rothery's he had a good first half, but a couple of misplaced passes in the second. Didn't really get into his flow. But overall, I'm sure he'll be happy with that. Maybe he just needs to conserve energy ahead of the 2 games that are coming up.
I wonder what the formation will be then, whether it'll be a flat 3 in midfield and 3 up front. Because we've seen the 4-2-3-1 with Ray and Boschel being the deeper 2. You wouldn't expect Potts to be much further advanced than those 2.
He's got some goals as Potts, though. Ball comes out wide here to Brooksby. Brooksby's got it on the right-hand side. Goes in towards the edge of the area on the right flank. Goes down to the touchline, gets the ball across. Plucked out of the air, though, by the goalkeeper, Frank Oz.
Just needed to square it there, didn't he, Wayne Brooksby? Needed to cross it across the face of goal and play it just in front of the keeper to AJ, who was waiting.
Hall and Simmons are having a tremendous battle here. And Simmons, I think you can feel a little bit hard done by there. Hall clearly had hold of his shirt, but the free kick's gone against him.
Well, he's laughing at the referee there, so I suppose that's better than barracking the referee when they've made a decision you don't like. And it's his last act of the game is to laugh at the referee for the decision he's been presented with, because it looks like he's trotting over for a substitution to Simons.
It could be. He is indeed the man to be replaced. The ex-Worcester and Gloucester striker will threaten us no more. But it's another character who we know well, Marvin Robinson. I believe he used to play at Brackley. I've certainly got memories of him causing us problems here at Nethermoor. So first substitution for Oxford City. I almost call them United again. I'm getting shot. And Guiseley have a throw. They've made some good headway down the right-hand side. It's a throw level with the 18-yard box. Holdsworth into the feet of Brooksby. Brooksby's just got himself in an offside position, so it'll be a free kick to the visitors. And as we head into the final, we're within the final 20 minutes now, but Guiseley 2-0 up are looking relatively comfortable. But you never dare say never, do you?
No, absolutely. One goal could change this. It's been a professional second half by Guiseley. They weathered a bit of pressure without giving away too many clear chances. And they've been disciplined in not piling too many men forward at the other end. But as the game sort of meanders along, you do still have the feeling that a goal for Oxford City could really change the shape of the game.
Ball forward after Alex Johnson goes for a header, and he sort of stooped in front of the centre-half, Wilmot. He went over, and no free kicks given, and Oxford have headed it forward rather aimlessly. Stephen Drench clears under pressure from Robinson. Robinson's a real like-for-like swap with Simmons. Now good ball here from Holdsworth, sends Alex Johnson on his way down the right-hand side. He's got two players in the box. He's got plenty of yellow shirts to beat, though. He twists and turns in the area, tries to go onto the left foot. I think he was trying to swing that one in towards the left upright, but he's overhit it and it's gone behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, Guiseley, just after that third goal that would seal the 3 points for them. I think maybe to say Robinson's a straight-for-straight swap is maybe to do him a little bit of a disservice. He's another big, tall striker, but he's obviously a bit more mobile, a bit more athletic, so he's going to harry the Guiseley defenders in a way that Simons didn't do quite the same.
Just looks like they can't deal with Danny Hall, Simmons or Robinson at the moment in the aerial challenges. Hall's had an excellent game at the back. Not had to make the sort of stunning challenges, has he, so far, but he's been very solid, and a good tackle there from Hall again, because Oxford City were threatening to come forward once again, but the attack has turned defence into attack, in fact, because Danny Forrest has got the ball on the left-hand side. He's got Henderson ahead of him, skips past him, gets the ball onto the right foot, shoots way over the bar, holds his head into his shirt. And he'll be disappointed with that because it was a good build-up, but very poor finish.
Yeah, disappointing final part to that move. I think the defence has been one of the big things that's changed about Guiseley in the last sort of month and a half. And Danny Hall is another one, like Adam Lockwood, who seems to read the game really well and just knows when to step forward and make an intervention. And it's very different to when we saw Guiseley's defence getting turned and strikers getting in behind them in the early weeks of the season.
Well, Robinson's still not happy that he's not getting the rub of the referee's whistle, he says, in the battle with Hall. But once again, like you say, just an example of the strength. Danny Hall held up Robinson, won the header, and the ball's in the stands at the moment. And, busy looking for it, just down to our left. And guys are in no hurry. Andy Holdsworth will have a throw-in for the Lions, just in front of us. Just coming up towards the halfway line. Gets it back from Potts. Potts just misses the ball back from Holdsworth. Takes it off Johnson, though. And then plays a lovely ball to the left flank. Here where Forrest will once again try to get forward and into the area. Cuts inside, plays it on the right foot, plays it in towards Potts. Over him, headed away And now a chance here for Pond to come forward for Oxford. Pond goes over the flailing legs of Danny Forrest. Forrest was a bit of a late challenge, but Pond made sure he got caught, I think. And I'm not quite sure that was probably the right decision from the midfielder, but he had a few options, didn't he, ahead of him in the counter-attack.
Well, these are interesting games for or moments for players like Potts when they get a chance to come onto the pitch, because Mark Bauer's first 11 is really clearly defined now, and it's important for these sort of bench players to take the chances they get.
Long ball forward from Frankos up towards the 18-yard box. Oxford had everyone on the edge of the 18-yard box now. They're really going for it. And now the counter-attack is on here. Wayne Brooksby gets it down the right-hand side. He makes some headway. He's got 3 shirts ahead of him, though. Gets a shot in. It's high and wide. And he just got under it and just blasted it over. Disappointing, because that was a real chance for us.
Yeah, that was... City had all their men committed forward, and guys, they had it on the break. And if there is a criticism of Wayne Brooksby, and we've mentioned it once or twice already this season, it's to do with the end product and the very final touch. And I think that time maybe a pass was warranted, or certainly attempting to beat the keeper at his near post like that. He had to put so much on it that it sailed safely over the bar in the end.
Well, free kick to Oxford City's been awarded because they've got Alex Johnson just straight into an offside position, very marginal. Long one forward now, looking for Robinson. Robinson doesn't get there, headed away, only as far as Henderson into Ballard. Ballard is well tackled by Danny Forrest, and to do a lot of work defensively as well. Ball forward, headed away by Lockwood, into the feet of Boschel. Boschel knocks it into touch though, and Oxford quickly get the ball back underway. Really going for it now, a City. Desperate to get that goal back into this game. Ballard, long ball into the area, looking for Pond it was. But Stephen Drench claims the ball. Pond was well shadowed by 3 Guiseley defenders. And the threat's gone, and Stephen Drench just puts the ball on the ground, invites Robinson to chase over for it, and then lofts one forward, looking here for Alex Johnson. Beaten away by the head of Wilmot. And then a long one played forward, looking for Robinson again, but Boschel just steps ahead of him, picks the ball up, plays it in towards Brooksby. Brooksby tries to feign past his man, gets a throw in. It was Stonehouse who got the last touch on the ball, so it's a Guiseley throw. A good spell there. Going to have another change, it would appear. It's time for Oxford City. I'm not quite sure who's coming off, because they don't seem to have any boards with them this afternoon. I've noticed the visitors, so we're left guessing. And it's indeed the man who's heading over there, Michael Pook. And I'm not quite sure who the substitute is that's coming on. And we'll just wait for a couple of moments here. There seems to be taking an age of substitution, Nick.
Yeah.
Declan Benjamin, former Oxford United player himself. Plenty of players from that end have come through that route in this side. Guiseley back underway here. Danny Hall, long ball forward. Alex Johnson manfully runs for it, gets it on the touchline. Under pressure though, he has to go away from goal, lays it back here to Brooksby. Brooksby out on the touchline, gets a good cross into the area, headed away by Ballard. Only as far as Rhea, into the feet of Boschel, then to Rhea. And Holdsworth out to the right-hand side where Brooksby comes forward, plays it into the feet of Boschel, and then as he goes for the return ball, Brooksby is blocked, and it's a free kick to Guiseley on the edge of the area.
Yeah, I imagine Reece Maynell will want to look at this on his left foot, just right on the very right-hand edge of the box. And he's got a choice here, Maynell, whether to shoot, maybe to go for the far top corner, or whether to try and catch someone coming into the box with a cross.
Maynell does opt to shoot. Perhaps we wish he hadn't, because he probably heard the groans. But he just got under it, and again, it just went over the bar. Guys, he just need to kill this game off, don't they? A third would just absolutely, obviously, put this game to bed.
Yeah, it's dropped off a little bit in the second half, and you can sort of say maybe that's quite professional. They're not sort of wasting energy, sort of piling forward with the vim and vigour they did in the first. But at the same time, that kind of just letting the pressure off and letting the pace drop a little bit does give Oxford City the opportunity to get back into the game, and of course that one goal would put everyone on the edge of their seats. Robinson
just tries to feed the ball through to Caden Jackson. Jackson doesn't get it. Benjamin, the substitute, has a real complaint about the challenge of Danny Forrest. Referee doesn't look at all impressed, and Oxford anyway have the ball inside their own half. A long one forward, looking for Robinson. Holdsworth tries to meet it with his head, but it can't get there, and it's picked up now by Winters on the left-hand side. Hall intercepts, and Jack Rea prevents it going out, but it's eventually gone for a throw. And it looks like we might have another throw, but actually it's Benjamin who's going to be spoken to, because he showed a real act of petulance, really, after the free kick. I think the referee does need to have a quick chat.
Yeah, it was a proper lash out of the foot after the challenge had gone, wasn't it? It was one of those really kind of childish sort of outbursts of anger. And
sorry, go on.
Well, I was just going to say the referee's right to have a word with him, but in the meantime, Alex Johnson is being substituted and getting a standing ovation from the home crowd, which is brilliant.
Well, he's had a marvellous afternoon. 2 wonderful goals from Alex Johnson. The first on 15 minutes, just failed to get at the back post after 2 great cross-field balls from Danny Forrest, and then Wayne Brooksby picked him out. But the second, a real special goal for him. He just twisted and turned past 2 men in the box and blasted the ball home with the left foot. Fantastic strike.
And his work rate is something to behold, isn't it? And it's reminiscent of another striker we used to have here who was a bit of a fan favourite as well. Someone else who would really get around the defenders and annoy them and wind them up and chase them down and force them into making mistakes. And to find a lad in his young, early 20s, isn't he, who's like that again, is a real find for Guiseley.
Now Oxford City have just won a corner. Good work, cracking tackle from Danny Boschel, just denied Pond from getting a shot away. But the net result is the ball has gone behind for a corner kick here to Oxford City. Have it as they look to launch this one in from the right-hand side. And it's put in towards the near post. Blasted away by Boschel, up towards the edge of the centre circle. Only man there is Brooksby. Brooksby's pulled down. I think that has to be a card, really, because he's... we only had 2 players ahead of him. It was he's taken one for the team, I think. It was Jackson. Jackson's walked right the other side of the field, or it was either Jackson or Stonehouse, I'm not sure. Either way, there's definitely going to be a yellow card. And Guiseley have a free kick just inside the opposition half.
Was it Malone in the end, actually, Matt? Oh, might have got... Yeah, I think it's Malone who's got
Malone,
the yellow card there. But yeah, you're absolutely right. It's a cynical... bringing a player down when he's making a dangerous break, but you can understand why a defender does that sometimes. That third goal and Oxford City's game really is well and truly over.
Long one forward, looking for the head of Hobson. Knocked away into the feet of Rothery. Holdsworth tries to play it square, but gives it actually straight away to Jackson. Jackson tries to go through his man, and Guiseley managed to take the ball away from him once again. Wayne Brooksby plays it forward. A lovely ball in here for Hobson. Hobson's got the goalkeeper rushing out at his feet. The goalkeeper, Victor Frantos, does very well on that instance and just claims the ball before Hobson can make any further headway.
Well, he was out very, very quickly, wasn't he, the keeper? And he needed to be, because it was an excellent ball through, and it looked like Hobson would be one-on-one with him. But he was very alert and quick off his line and brave to get down at Hobson's feet. And I think he maybe got a kick in the stomach or something, just something that to sting and give him a little memento of that challenge in the meantime. But it was a great stop.
Guiseley still have the ball. It's with Danny Forrest now on the left-hand flank. Forrest gets it back from Boschel and then is held up by 2 players, loses out. Chance now for Marvin Robinson to launch a counter-attack for City. Skips past 2 players. Can't get past Danny Hall, though. Danny Hall just steps across, takes the ball away from him, knocks it out into touch. Ballard will take the throw. Oxford really need to up the tempo, and they know that. They get the ball down the right-hand side in towards Robinson before it's taken away from him. Sorry, it's Benjamin, rather. And then Guiseley clear. They were looking to get Hobson away, but Oxford City have recovered the ball and then blasted it straight into Brooksby. Brooksby takes the ball off Stonehouse. He was claiming a handball. Stonehouse has to step across and knock it out into touch.
Well, we're just getting a few moments of excitement now as we get towards the end, and City quite rightly carrying on, trying to get themselves something from the game, and it's presenting Guiseley with 1 or 2 chances on the other end as the game's stretching out a bit.
You're listening to Guiseley AFC Radio, bringing you commentary of this game between the Lions and Oxford City, and at the moment Guiseley are leading 2-0, both coming from Alex Johnson in the first half. Two smashing goals, actually, good team goals. And a great finish from Alex Johnson for the second in particular. But the Lions have the ball in the Oxford City half. Thumping challenge on Jack Rea from Robinson.
Yeah, and as it gets colder and the pitch hardens and the sun's long since gone down now, all those challenges just start to hurt a little bit more, don't they, as the temperature drops.
Throw into Hobson. Hobson gets the ball across the field into Potts. Potts can finish this. Great save by the goalkeeper. Denies Michael Potts after being put through from Hobson. And once again, guys, he still haven't got that killer third. And now in the counter-attack, Caden Jackson's gone down. Claims he was clipped. And the referee's given a free kick, and Jackson's appealing for a card, I think, for the man who clipped him. I think it might have been Reece Maynell. That was the moment, though, to kill this game, put this game completely to bed. But as it is, it now means that Oxford City have a free kick. It's midway through the Guiseley half, and they are bringing all their players forward. The goalkeeper stays back, but everyone else is inside the Guiseley half. The ball whipped in towards the back post, looking for Robinson. He can't get there. It's headed away from him by Lockwood, and actually the referee decides there's a free kick against Robinson. Robinson's furious, not surprisingly, and the danger's passed.
Well, I didn't see that myself. That looked like a pretty fair header out by Adam Lockwood in a corner to City, but...
Attendance today, 409, just been announced. And who've come out today. No doubt enjoyed the afternoon.
Yeah, that's 409 kettles that are going straight on when people get home, though, now, isn't it? Blimey, it's not warm.
Don't tell me that, Nick. Free kick now to...
Hopefully it won't cause a power cut.
Drench lofts one forward, looks for the head of Hobson. Craig Hobson. He is beaten to it. It's another throw. Good performance. It'd be good to keep the clean sheet. That'd be 2 clean sheets in a row for Stephen Drench if he can hold on to this.
And it would be a clean sheet in each of the tournaments that Guiseley's still in. We obviously had the 3-0 against Ossett the other week in the County Cup, 3-0 against Histon last Saturday in the FA Trophy, and then to get a clean sheet victory today would really send out a signal that Guiseley are really back in business.
Good stats there, Nick.
Yeah, no problem.
Impressive.
It's taken me 90 minutes.
Long ball forward here for Oxford City as they look to get that last minute goal, or last dash goal that could inspire recovery, but they've just lost possession, and Michael Potts has taken hold of the ball and launched one forward down the left-hand side. Hobson was on the left flank. He was the man who he directed the pass to, but his control wasn't so good. And now, guys, he send it all the way back to Stephen Drench. He still hold on to the ball, and Drench lofts one forward. You just feel that momentum of the counter-attack could have been much more productive than it was.
Well, the pass was a little bit square out to Hobson, actually, so he ended up being just behind where he wanted to be, and it was difficult to control while he was on the run.
Well, Oxford City do feel like they should have had something for the challenge out of Hall on Ballard. Ballard's certainly not happy about it.
That's not
Hall's gone down.
Not a good sign. He's holding that same ankle again, isn't he? And it'd be a shame now if he's got through 90 minutes almost, and right at the end he's just taken a knock on it. And as I say, when it's cold and everything just seems to hurt that little bit more. But if he's just taken a thump and re-injured himself, that would be a shame.
Well, Jake Lawler's on the bench. There's no chance of, no reason to risk it in the last couple of minutes. Whip him off.
Yeah, absolutely.
Stephen Drench, meanwhile, has the ball returned, sportingly, after he put the ball out for Hall to get a little bit of attention. Guiseley tried to use the aerial prowess of Hobson, but Oxford City win the throw. Stonehouse creeps a few yards forward, as to be expected. Plays it into the chest of Robinson. Robinson and Winters on 2 different wavelengths, and it's out for another throw-in.
I'm always the same when I'm in the stands, but I don't get why fans are surprised at a player pinching 5 or 10 yards for a throw-in. It happens at every single throw-in in a football.
Holdsworth just does the same thing. It's flicked on now by Brooksby. Picked up by Jack Rea, up towards Hobson. Hobson takes it down well, actually. Plays it into the feet of Potts now. Guiseley just holding on to the ball. Potts twists and turns, just shows some nice footwork. Little back heel into Brooksby, but it's just a bit short, and then it's cleared. Lockwood comes across to tidy things up, does very well. Holdsworth keeps it in possession, and Guiseley hold on to the ball very well indeed, actually. And now come forward here with Jack Rea. Square to Potts. Potts with options ahead of him, tries to get the shot away. It's blocked. The ball bounces all the way back to Danny Boschel. Boschel helps it down the left-hand side, just ahead of Danny Forrest. And it's out for a throw-in.
Well, Danny Hall is moving around a little bit more freely now, but with real conservation of energy. He's not doing any running he doesn't have to.
Well, the throw that was taken by Oxford went back to the goalkeeper, Victor Frankos. The goalkeeper slipped at the critical moment, but still did well enough to take the ball away from Hobson, who was bearing down on him. Frankos, who's French national, who played his football in the United States until recently. He's done well this afternoon, but couldn't stop Alex Johnson getting his 2 goals. It's a clearance as Oxford City look to get the ball into the Guiseley half, but the Lions are defending stoutly. Reese made up, but they do keep coming forward, do City, and they get the ball into the area with Jackson. Jackson plays it square. In the end, it's tidied up nicely by Danny Boschel and Reese Maynell, and Boschel just plays a cool foot into the feet of Andy Holdsworth. Andy Holdsworth steps forward, goes past Stonehouse, then slips himself, but does well on the floor to get hold of the ball and play it into the feet of Michael Potts. Potts out to the left-hand side where Forrest gets it. A little bit more pedestrian from Guiseley as they come forward, just trying to use the clock and use up the time that remains. And Potts and Forrest are just holding on to the ball. Does come forward and plays a lovely ball in towards Hobson. Hobson's onside, goes down towards the touchline, no one ahead of him. In the end, a good challenge there. I think it was Declan Benjamin. Just get ahead of him, and then it's gone behind for a Guiseley corner.
Yeah, there was good work by Guiseley. They were patiently sort of playing the ball around midfield, but when the chance presented and Hobson peeled away onto the left flank, they took the opportunity to play it forward to him, and he won the corner well.
Guiseley just taking their time with this corner, much to the frustration of the visitors.
Yeah, and look at the difference. Adam Lockwood staying back. So Danny Hall's gone forward, but one of the centre-backs has remained in his own half.
Just waiting for the added minutes to be outlined. As you can see, Guiseley just trying to take it short. This time the referee blew for a free kick because they'd encroached on the 10 yards they meant to leave. It goes short once again. As you can imagine, it's going to be wind the clock down back in that corner flag, but good work from Hobson, who manages to get past one man, then it gets brought down, so it'll be a free kick now. And there'll only be 2 minutes of added time, which is a bit of a surprise, really. We've had, I'm always surprised when it's less than 3.
Well, there's been a few substitutions, hasn't there? But I don't suppose there's been any there's long stoppages. I don't think we've seen either physio on.
No, that's fair comment. That's fair comment. Referee maybe feeling a bit chilly. I know we are.
Yeah, I'm going to be glad to get up and move around. Yeah, I'm feeling the cold.
It's certainly winter. And Guiseley are enjoying it, though, because the Lions are just waiting to get the ball underway, but the encroachment continues from Oxford. Not much to their advantage. And is that Jackson? No, it's Stonehouse. He's got himself booked now. Rather needless yellow card.
What a silly booking to give away there. You're 2-0 down and the game's over and you're just delaying a free kick being taken.
If anything, you want to get the game underway as quickly as possible.
Well, yeah.
Anyway, guys, they have got the game back underway and Hobson's holding it up in that corner. Does well, goes past his man, then is brought down again. And now there's shouts of off because Stonehouse is the man who's done it. That would be a very silly double yellow card, wouldn't it? Referee decides no. Shows plenty of sense as Alex Johnson is named sponsors manager in that match. Match day sponsors today, Grosvenor Casinos. So much gratitude to them. And guys, they have a free kick as they seek to just use up these final couple of minutes of added time and hold on to this 2-goal lead. It's all the action in the last couple of minutes, all been down the left corner flag.
Well, they're all gathering around the tunnel ready to get indoors into the warm as soon as possible.
Who could blame them? Now Oxford City, one last chance for them to come forward. Get the throw on the halfway line, launch it forward. Reese Maynell gets ahead into the feet of Potts. Potts lays it back. Oxford pick it up with Benjamin on the halfway line. Square. It's a chance for them to launch one long up towards Robinson. And the referee says That's enough of the game, and it's another good performance from the Lions. It's another clean sheet, and it's another 3 points. It's all the things that Mark Bowler wanted. 2 cracking goals from Alex Johnson in the first half, a wonderful team goal for the first. Danny Forrest and Wayne Brooksby involved, a great delivery to find Johnson at the back post. He just nodded it home, and for the second, when he picked up the ball from Gavin Rothery, he twisted and turned, beat his man brilliantly, and fired the ball past the goalkeeper Victor Francos, who had no chance. It was all the goals came in that first 45, but the Lions have ground out a good second period and held another clean sheet. It's finished here at Nethermore. Guiseley 2, Oxford City 0.
A very successful afternoon's work for Guiseley, I would say. And as we were looking, we called it early in the game, didn't we? It'd be interesting to see if they could get a clean sheet. For the first time in the league since the 1-0 victory at home to Workington, which was in August, I think, right at the very end of August. So that's been a long time coming. Second half was not much of a spectacle compared to the first, not much of the excitement that we saw in front of goal in the first half in particular. But guys, they were professional, they were disciplined, they reduced the opposition to sort of half chances. They didn't commit too many men forward and leave themselves exposed, which must be tempting when you're 2-0 up and feel like you've got the opportunity to. A little bit of needless afters on the pitch, really, with the referee, getting a bit of hassle from Oxford City's players initially, and then one of the coaching staff, I think, as well. And I don't think the referee was particularly brilliant today, but I don't think he committed any howling errors either. I think both team strikers would have wanted some more free kicks given their way, but you know, it was also good to see some real good old-fashioned British English central defence today, actually, and Adam Lockwood in particular. You wouldn't believe they were a new central defensive pairing. You know, they look very, very assured. They both understand the game. They know when to step forward, and no wasted motion. They intervene. They get the ball forward and back into alignment. So, from Guiseley's point of view, I think they'll be very happy to have got through without any scares in the second half, and then the long trip down to Kidderminster to play Worcester City in midweek must not be overlooked on the way to what is a real mouth-watering tie at the Shea next weekend.
Yeah, that will be a real test, won't it? And as Nick says, we'll be with you for the Worcester City game. Touch wood, and it's a long trip down, and also hopefully to bring you the coverage of the Halifax FA Trophy tie next Saturday. So 2 important away days for the Lions, but hopefully this afternoon's fantastic performance, a 2-0 victory over Oxford City, is enough to see the Lions through into the next week ahead, and we'll be delighted if you'll join us for then. But for now, thank you very much for sticking with us over the course of this afternoon, and we'll see you next time.